Hello Ravers, I'm Brawlers and welcome to the Electric DM10, a series dedicated for the EDM DJs and producers that have carried their names into the journey of sound for at least a decade and more. During the time of this recording and posting, the project being covered is still in the professional EDM scene, creating bangers, touring/performing, or both. As the world of electronic music has countless DJs and producers, many qualify for the 10 plus year streak series. Being in the EDM industry for this amount of time is no easy task, let alone in the professional environment. With that said, this series of videos will briefly cover the project, the members, and tours/travels. Most importantly, the music that got these projects the impactful recognition for the listeners and the fans, of the thousands, millions, and in some cases, billions. For a project to qualify in this series, the following must be met. First, 10 plus years of the project name being active. Important note, the project name cannot change to a completely different name. Second, at least one main headlining tour or direct support tour of the project's time. Special cases can qualify. And third, must have a minimum of 3 EPs, 1 album, and or several songs/remixes published. A special note, the project can have a time of taking a break from the scene due to health/unfortunate circumstances, as long as the creator of the project doesn't confirm the end of such project in less than 10 years. Now, with the intro out of the way, we are on forth to the 13th episode of the Electric DM10. Whew! Well, Ravers, it's been a bit since I have done an Electric DM10 on my YouTube channel. I believe it's been more than a month at this point. But I hope for this episode it makes up for it. Because for the 13th episode, we got ourselves a filler jam-packed. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Oh boy, brain freeze. Give me a sec. Oh man, but that drink that I made was good. Ice freaking cold. Just like what we're about to cover for this Electric DM10. I got a good amount of info and a fun story discussion to say, so stick around to the end. This intro is going to be short, so let's soothe our way into this one, Ravers. We have the one and only Slushii, and I'm not talking about the drink that I'm sipping on right now, or the slush puppies. Shout out to anyone who knows what slush puppies are. You're an OG. Or the 7-Eleven slushies you get at the corner of the block. Let's go. Slushii, real name Julian Scanlan, is an American DJ and producer and songwriter that lives in Los Angeles, but he originated from the East Coast of the United States. Known for his happy/rough and emotional dubstep and future-based sounds. Let's add a bit of house music and trap with a touch of Japanese anime vibes to his style. Oh, and let's not forget electric ambient music too, which we'll cover later on in this video. His style is so unique that not just anyone, in fact almost no one has gotten close to quote-unquote replicating his style of music production. His rise to fame was indeed from the helps of collaborators that took notice of his music, including Jaws, OK, Marshmello, and even the owner of Ausla Records himself, Skrillex. As mentioned in the intro, his reputation in the EDM world is kind of high, and to prove just that, let's take a trip back in time where he started and slowly make our way to the present. As a youngster, he started out in school, and something unique about him, he was fascinated in music big time. So much so that he had his adventures before Julian got the Slushii project under his personal name. Julian Scanlan began his musical journey by joining a pop band called Detrimony for 3 years, until around the year of 2012. Surprisingly, he did release an album with this group, and it's called Propaganda, not the signature trap hit from DJ Snake. He was also a part of a musical duo called Monsters with Tiny Mustaches, with a partner in crime called M.H. Kaz. Things turned to a completely different direction for Julian in 2013 as he went solo into the dance music world. This first jump, however, was short-lived with the name DJ Swoon. I didn't know about this name until I did the research. Unfortunately, under this name with SoundCloud, this account got taken down due to automatic copyright claiming systems, which then led to a permanent deletion. Feeling very defeated at first, and with the motivated help of a few comrades to amp him up, getting him out of that defeat, Julian makes another Hail Mary to create what is now known as Slushii. As he went into these projects, including the Slushii project, to this day, life wasn't a cool breeze for Julian, especially in grade school. Julian was in fact a very shy individual when it came to school. It almost feels like I'm reading out of a script from a TV series where a side character just ends up getting bad luck after bad luck with the tail. No offense, Julian. Constant bullying and feeling self-doubtful, he would often isolate himself to the point of only listening to music and completely zoning out of the real world. This was his way of arming himself in a creative direction and dreaming to aim as high as he could possibly go with his music. He would sit by a small lake and ease his mind for a bit and write music so he wouldn't fall down into a deeper hole or do certain things that I cannot say due to YouTube being a snowflake. Hey, no need to get butthurt. Don't come at me now. You know it's true, YouTube. Side note, sensitive topics like this should be discussed in a way to alert others that goes through conflicts, as we are all human beings at the end of the day. And mental obstacles along with that shouldn't be ignored. Believe me, help can always be found no matter where you are. Alright, back to the Slushii documentary. His starting success amped up with a song called Dear Me and started to get the attention from several people, including producers like the ones I mentioned earlier in the video. One in particular was Skrillex. And when Julian went to Sunset Music Festival, that exact moment happened. Sony was playing a remix from Slushii, and as Julian was hearing it go down live while being close to him, someone told him, "Get on stage, let him know that you're here, and he's playing your remix." Once that moment happened, without even thinking, Julian said, "Fuck it, let's just go." And just surprising Skrillex out of nowhere, the vibe was freaking real. He even states that it was one of the most important moments of not only his music journey, but his life. That surprise was later returned at a Hard Summer Music Festival where Skrillex surprised Slushii and the two went back to back. What a legend to arm up another legend. And me, just a little side note, I just realized that because I type a lot, sometimes I end up getting these typos and I put Slushii. I misspelled this little one right here. His success continues into the late 2010s, especially his There Times 2 tour that went all over the US and even sold out the Hollywood Palladium. Fast forward to the present times, his name is still going here and there, but not like how it was going full Blizzard mode in the late 2010s. Might be because he decided to step back a bit and have a more calm approach with his name/project, and also go into other hobbies he enjoys now that the music has clearly given him good recognition in the EDM world. With his history out of the way, let's dig into the tours/travels. Because of how recognized Slushii's songs were, and they still are in my opinion, he has traveled all over the world from various clubs as the main headliner to the massive festivals. Some of these festivals include the following: EDC, various like Las Vegas, Orlando, and so on, Tomorrowland, Hard Summer, Ultra Music Festival Miami. Fun fact, this is where I ended up discovering Slushii in January 2018. Beyond Wonderland, Nocturnal Wonderland, Spectrum Festival, Ooby Dooby, and you know, it would be sick if he was to go for Lost Lands. There was a Google AI thingy that mentions he did go because I checked all the lineups of Lost Lands and I did not find his name anywhere. So to the internet, you fucking liar.
I'm triggered.
Well, some of the tours he has done includes the following: Watch Your Back Tour, There Times 2 Tour, which he played and sold out the famous Hollywood Palladium in Hollywood, California. That's where I saw him for the first time, and that was the only time I got to see him throw down. Also, his Monster Tour, his Slush It Up Tour back in 2017. And we can't forget the Operation Overlord Tour that went from the end of 2024 to the start of 2025. This guy going international is an absolute understatement, especially in Japan, where he is one of the most popular for the EDM culture. But we'll cover that in a bit. Alright ravers, before we get into the fun facts for the Slushii project, let's take a look at the music numbers on his pages, shall we? Now, as of June 2025, SoundCloud has, wait, less than 1,000, less than 500 as a matter of fact. This one is an interesting case. Oh, and shout outs to the followers of 115. If anyone is a Call of Duty zombie slayer, you know what this number is about. But getting back on track, you would think with the extremely low number on SoundCloud, after being a part of many collabs and record labels, along with signature hits, massive music festivals, why the extremely low number? Only one logical explanation: he erased his SoundCloud completely. Why that is? I did some digging and found this unfortunate reality. This was some time ago, so bear in mind. He ends up going on to a Reddit post that he found out of people hacking his accounts. People constantly doing this on his social media pages, including his Twitter, SoundCloud, and Reddit, which this is where I found of how he was venting out. Side note, I know many artists that don't have a Twitter/X and are doing just fine. I think you just see it as a dumping site. But one more time, going into why he did this, he deleted his SoundCloud account publicly last year, or a few years ago, and he even stated the word publicly in bold text. There's a reason I don't use these platforms, he quotes. I have autism and people use my condition to bully me by hacking my accounts and spreading a false narrative about who I am on the internet. I apologize to anyone who is being targeted. Whoever keeps hacking my accounts is a coward, and I am working on having all the accounts erased for the 8th time. These are his words that I am quoting from the source. And I would say that this statement was from a few years ago, and it's happy to see that he has his SoundCloud back up and running again. Not only with the new tracks, even though I do miss his old tracks, he also has a Brain Freeze radio podcast that he does on occasion. So I'd strongly recommend that if anyone is a big fan of Slushii, go on and support him again with him starting all over with his official page. And it sucks that these scumbags that they would just do this to someone like him. Spotify is a different story, since this platform isn't as easy to sabotage because he is locking in at about 3.5 million plus monthly listeners. Goddamn, that's just incredible. That number could be more than some tiny countries that are in this planet. All right, now we're on to the fun facts. Julian's first song inspiration was in fact In For The Kill with Skrillex remix. Some stuff Julian enjoys doing is watching anime and playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards on occasion. Julian's weight loss journey should not go unnoticed. In an Insta post from 2023, he describes going from a triple XL in 2018 to a medium size, reaching the end of 2023, totaling down 150 pounds. That is most impressive, man. He has performed with a Slushii helmet/mask on a couple of times. This is what it looks like. Slushii did a fun YouTube video on his experience touring Steve Aoki's Playhouse Mansion in Las Vegas, Nevada. And he even says, I want to be like Steve when I'm all grown up. Also, had to take an ice bath for a couple of minutes. Well, it wasn't really ice, it was just super cold water. Oh yeah! It's traditional for Steve to do this to all of his guests. Speaking of Steve Aoki, his words from the YouTube video giving a praise in Slushii Sound as he was submitting his music into Dim Mak Records, and here it is.
When I hear your first melodies, I'm like, that's Slushii. Not just the melody, it's like the sound. You have like such a defining sound. If you played like 10 songs, I could like identify which one's a Slushii song, you know?
So imagine that. That is just freaking dope. This one in particular, however, isn't as dope/fun, but more of an oof that Julian didn't deserve to be in. And it's from one of his inspirations that he looked up to, which was Deadmau5. Just hear the small clip on this one.
I'm triggered.
Music.
No lie, I still remember seeing this video and just being in complete shock and just me going, what the shit, as I just covered my mouth in disbelief. Slushii then took it to the social medias to say his thoughts on this matter. And man, this was unfortunate to face. Sure, Deadmau5 apologized and mentioned to be better, but then again, it's a balance between being the troll of EDM and going a little bit too much. Not to mention on someone that not only looked up to him, but has an absolute killer of a mindset with making his own sound and music for his crowd. I'm just saying, we all got different tastes in music, and for Joel, Julian's style clearly isn't for him. The popularity of Julian's project isn't as hyped as it once was back in the late 2010s, as he skyrocketed in that time, but rest assured, his music is still pretty iconic. I know for a fact with a weekend type of a meet and greet within a unique location here in the US, there will be a pretty significant line to see this talented producer. However, let's go to another part of the world, specifically Japan. Over there, he is excision level famous, and I think that's already enough for Julian to handle if he gets swarmed by his international supporters and fans. Not sure how that goes down on a regular basis with how often he visits that country. Scanlan was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, forgive me if I'm saying this incorrectly, which he states that this interfered with his ability to make friends and understand other quote-unquote normal clues for regular society. He states the following: I felt so different from anyone else, and I felt so detached from anything. I was very depressed, and if it wasn't for music, I probably would have done something I really regretted. With time and dedication from his crafting and music, even the few people that made fun of him had a different say with how massive the Slushii project grew. Final fun fact, he made the song Love You Need You, the song you briefly heard deadmau5 harshly bashing on a bit, in a rapid record time in less than a few hours on his way to a show in a car. A freaking car ride. And he made, in my opinion, one of his pop-off signature songs of 2017/2018, along with So Long. What the heck am I even doing avoiding to mess with actual sounds and trying to make music? Oof. Well, out with the fun facts and in with the collabs. And man, we've got a good amount to note. So let's go. Jaws and Crank That. Marshmello, one of his OG partners in crimes as he was starting up. Steve Aoki, Ray Ray with a house track. And fun fact, I did a documentary on her. Go see it, please, if you have the spare time to. You're not going to regret it, Julian. And to anyone that's watching out there, it's one of my favorite documentaries I've done. Thank you. Tokyo Machine, Kayvon, OK, Vault, and more. Along with some singers, including Leah Kate, Sophia Reyes, and Seti Hendrix with his new song, Wanna Be the One, that he released with one of his new EPs. He even has bragging rights as being one of the very few EDM producers to collaborate with a singing voice synthesizer program. She is extremely popular in Japan with a super niche category of music known as Vocaloid, and she is none other than Hatsune Miku. Slushii's submission with record labels including these few bits: Monster Cat, which he is mostly recognized from the mid to late 2010s, Dim Mak, No Copyright Sounds, and Mad Decent. Now we're going to get into the real grind with his music, and that's going to be with his discography. The singles, of course, are up first. I still remember some of the numerous OGs that I still like hearing from time to time, including the following: Make Me Feel, Love You Need You, one of my personal favorites, So Far, Say Goodbye, Emptiness, Hold On, also one of my personal favorites. I still recall when he sings it, this is a really good emotional song, Where I'm At, and so on. The new songs that he has on his discography include I Don't Miss You, this is still such a banger, Hate December, Forever With You, and another one of my personal favorites, Wanna Be the One, especially the music video with that gal. You know what I mean. You did good there, Slushii. You did really good with that music video. But let's not forget that he is also a really crafty master at remixes, including the following: Want You To remix, Slushii's Killer remix from Skrillex and Weewek, his Faded remix, original from Alan Walker, his Silence remix, original from Khalid and Marshmello, Mind from Jack Yu, the Mic Drop remix from BTS, another personal favorite of mine, In My Head remix, the original from Galactus, and Ariana Grande's Side to Side remix. Man, this song went in the Hollywood Palladium. I still remember that. And OK's Thief remix that he did. Here's some that really went into the atmosphere of the 2010s, the late 2010s, and that's Never Forget Your remix, the original from Zadar Larson and Mnek. along with his Jotaro remix. Wait, what the hell? He did I Want You to Know remix from Zed and Selena Gomez? And Jack U? Where are you now? Okay, I need to start hunting with these songs. I need to start looking into this. Jumping to the EPs, he has a total of 3, and they are the following. Brain Freeze EP from 2016, Find Your Wings EP from 2018, and Watch Your Back from 2019. Wait. Breaking news, almost forgot. His Operation Overload EP, which was just released last month, May 2025. Also go and hear that. It's going to be available practically on all platforms, including his SoundCloud. Now for the albums. This is where we're going to go into not only with the Slushii project, but another side project that Julian was working on. A total of 4 studio albums, with some of the songs being signature song hits. Let's jump into Out of Light from 2017. I didn't know that this was self-released, and this went into a huge success. His Dream album, Dream, Dream 2, and Dream 3 from 2018 through 2020. But this is from another project name that he goes by Sapien Dream. I'm only hearing this name as I'm doing the script, but I do need to hear more of this type of music that he has gone into. His E.L.E, which is Extinction Level Event in 2022, and his recent album that he did a few years ago, Forever With You, which a Slushii Summer from the same year. Last but not least, the recommendations. Man, they are through the roof. You can't go wrong with any of his songs if you want to mainly get moving, like you got yourself a hyper brain freeze, but I'm going to give you some right now. Where I'm At, Love You Need You, Hold On, Through the Night with Hatsune Miku if you love Vocaloids, By My Side, Sandcastles, Side to Side remix, In My Head remix, Thief remix, I Don't Miss You, so many more. Man, what a ride that I did with this documentary. But we're going to close out with the personal thoughts. I almost got to see him 3 times, but my second and third time I couldn't do that because of my health conditions that I was facing along with the pandemic / money situations. However, I got to personally meet him and had a pretty good 5-minute talk with him, and here's the proof that I got some pictures of seeing him around December. So it was a pretty good chat that we had, just asking him with some questions of the music world and some music productions. He also recommended me to start messing around with Valhalla, which I do need to do. Like, if you hear this documentary from beginning to end, Slushii, make sure you like tap a note on me and say, get to work and messing with Valhalla. You never know what you're gonna make, which I will. And it was pretty cool that I got to speak to Julian with his experience in the Hollywood Palladium, that he sold out that entire venue, which was amazing. And one of his openers, which was direct support by the time, was Ducky, which it was thanks to Slushii that I got into Ducky big time. Unfortunately for this project is no more, as she left the music scene in 2021 forever, which I have a video documentary from her journeys, point of beginning to where she completely shut down Ducky. I would strongly recommend to go see that. Thank you, Julian, for putting Ducky on your lineup for the Hollywood Palladium tour. And thank you for all the incredible music that is just so unique that I cannot wait to see you again. And I'm going to point out one more note before I conclude the video. I have a personal special someone that is in Las Vegas, Nevada, that she got to see you in an after party. She goes by the name of DJ Amethyst, and it would be really dope if I can get you, Julian, and her to talk a few things in person. I'm not sure if she's gotten the honor to meet you in person, but if I'm able to do that, I definitely will, to make sure that you two meet and speak in person. The future is unknown, but one thing is for sure, I gotta end this video. This was a very long run, and thank you, Ravers, so much for your patience. I do want to get another documentary out for this month, so I owe like myself another one, if not 3 for June, but definitely 2 will be happening for the month of June 2025. This was a lot of fun to make, and it took me a little bit of time to get the information down. All in all, packed in for this jam-packed episode of the Electric DN10. Be sure to check out Slushii's music pages and social medias, which will be in the EDM box below, along with my social medias in the EDM box below. I have a long ways to start making music on unique levels like you, Julian. So once more to everybody that watched from beginning to end, thank you for tuning in. Lastly, keep listening, stay safe, and rave on.
Yo, LA, I fucking love you guys so much. My name is Slushii. Good night!